Let me start with a little disclaimer. This is not a styling video. No perfect Pinterest setups with clever hacks for displaying endless art supplies. No dramatic makeovers with magical Narnia-style storage closets. What you're about to see is probably the most functional video ever made about the importance of a good work environment. Not focused on beauty or aesthetics, but on personal need. On what you actually need to become the most productive version of yourself. I will take you along as I talk about my own needs, the obstacles I've run into in my studio and how I have solved them. And hopefully by the end of this video, you will know exactly how you would want to adjust your own workspace to create your own ideal working environment. What even is a good workspace? What makes a workspace good? For me, it's a place I actually want to be. A place that's completely dedicated to making. And I'm not talking about a place that inspires me. I'm talking about a place where I can actually be productive. Where I can use all my energy in the best possible way. Everything that gives me energy can stay, but everything that drains it has to go. That's how I make sure my space is fully focused on developing my creative ideas. So all my energy can go straight into the work itself. All the energy leaks and obstacles have to be out of sight. That way I can start easily, stay focused longer, and keep going for as long as I want to. Let me start with the most surprising solution to a lot of my problems. I try to have as few art supplies as possible. Yes, let that sink in for a moment. A visual artist with as few materials as possible. You might think the perfect setting for creativity requires endless options. Shelves full with every kind of paper in every color and texture, markers, pencils, pastels, oils, acrylic, chalk, canvases, basically the entire art store inventory, right? But for me, all those possibilities don't bring freedom, they bring paralysis. Instead of feeling free to create, I just freeze. With so many materials staring back at me, I don't even know where to begin, so I just don't. Being aware of that trap, I decide to make very conscious choices. Not only by owning less, but by carefully organizing what I do keep. This way, I don't have to keep negotiating with supplies I technically own but will never actually reach for. Because that's what happens. You glance at a pen and think, do I need this today? You pick a pencil and wonder, should I use this color for a change? Tiny questions, tiny hesitations, but they stack up. They drain you before you even begin. And when your whole space is crowded with materials, those questions multiply. You're not just choosing what to make, you're choosing what not to use, again and again and again. That's a huge energy leak. So I try to design my space in a way where those questions never even get a chance to appear. Fewer objects, fewer decisions, fewer moments where my brain can wander off. Because the less I have to think about what I could use, the more energy I have for actually making something. The biggest mess was inside this cabinet. It was once designed perfectly for my old workspace, which was also my living room. Back then, it was everything I wanted. But in this studio, it's kind of out of place. Cute little compartments, yes, of course, but they invited me to drop tiny bits and random things everywhere. Things I don't use often, but still have to look at every day. So sadly, the cabinet had to go. To store my essentials, I installed a small drawer under my desk. That's where all my frequently used little things live now. My pens, USB adapters, an eraser, a compact, focused space for the things I actually reach for. No distractions and no unnecessary friction before I can get started. For the bigger items, paints, brushes, books, I added extra shelves inside the other cabinet. So while Pinterest is filled with studios where every marker and paint tube is beautifully displayed by color, in my studio everything is tucked away, out of sight. That way I don't have to constantly relate to my stuff. It's not silently asking for my attention. And that saves energy I can use to actually make things. That doesn't mean I gave away all my materials. I still have boxes full of different paints and jars of brushes. If you've seen my videos before, you know I like to work with different materials a lot. But my inspiration doesn't come from the materials. I don't need tools to think of what I'm going to make. It's the other way around. I have an idea first and then I figure out what material fits best that idea. Because inspiration doesn't really happen here, in this space. It happens out there, in life. Any place or moment can spark an idea. When it comes, I just try to capture it. A quick note, a fast sketch, and then I think what I will need to bring it to life, back in the studio. Buying art supplies only when I actually need them is a completely different mindset than thinking, I want to draw with pencils, so I'm just buying this full set of pencils. Instead of being distracted by all those color choices, I think more carefully about my color palette. For example, for this art piece, I only needed greens and blues, so that's all I bought. That way I can focus on quality over quantity, and in the long run, it's not only saves me money, but also space and energy. So my studio isn't really the place I get inspired. That's why it's empty. I don't need a wall full of inspiration boards when I'm working. In fact, my view is completely white. And that's not just to avoid distractions. The white walls also work beautifully as a light reflector. I don't have to build a studio setup every time I need to film. I instantly get soft, even light, which makes it so much easier to just start. That doesn't mean I sit in a sterile, white, sensory deprivation chamber. There's a reason I'm painting this closet doors. My studio space is more like business in the front, party in the back. I still want to fill it with things that matter to me as tiny reminders of what I'm working on. Projects that are on the horizon. But those things change all the time. Projects come and go. So I wanted a large corkboard where I can pin reminders. Like this little butt drawing. It reminds me of a future exhibition I want to make about chronic pain. But I also pin up simple to-do lists. Not always solutions work. I once tried motivating myself to paint more canvases by keeping them all visible in the rooms. But after 10 months, I had to admit that didn't work. What was meant to inspire me slowly turned into a corner of dusty, empty canvases. A quiet symbol of a good intention that never came to life. The corner of shame. So it's time for a new solution. I built this hanging system, so now I can just grab a canvas, put it on the wall and draw directly on it. Ready to go, no setup, no excuses. If it's gonna work, let's hope so. When you remove all the thresholds, it's easier to do the task you want to do. The simpler a task is, the more likely you are to start, to keep going and to enjoy it. Take this. I used to dread preparing small orders for my shop, which is weird because I'm genuinely honored every time someone orders something. It doesn't happen that often, so it should be a joyful moment. But the process, pulling out boxes, opening them, get that one card, close the box, put out another, it was just too many steps. So I took out all of the old shelves and added 11 new ones, creating open tray for each card design. Now it's super easy to pack an order, and I actually look forward to it. And that's the key. The fewer the steps between you and the thing you want to do, the less energy you lose along the way, and the easier it becomes. Another thing I changed in this space is curtains. I know, for some people it's basic interior design, but I never thought I needed them. There are no neighbors peeking in and I have a lovely view, so why block it? Well, turns out I was getting too much sunlight. Too bright to draw, too harsh to film, so I started hanging a random orange cloth to block it. But that just made my entire video orange. I finally invested in blackout curtains. Now I can control the light whenever I need to. Let's talk about working from home. Even with all these adjustments, all these solutions, there are still objects I cannot remove. This space is not just my studio. It's also a storage, a wardrobe, a drying area for laundry, and sometimes it's just the dumping ground for stuff I haven't figured out yet. So it can't always be a perfect creative bubble. To fix that, I could, of course, rent an external studio. And if that works for you, that's amazing. But personally, I'm so happy to work from home. I'll tell you why. The most obvious reason, the costs. Working from home saves a lot of money and lowers the pressure to earn back a certain amount of money just for studio rent. Now I don't have to make art just to pay for a place where I can make art. And sure, you can also rent a shared place, a shared studio that's much cheaper. And that sounds lovely. Other artists to talk to, learn from, maybe even work together. It's social, inspiring and fun. But for me, my social battery just drains very fast. There are so many days in a month where I just want to be alone. If I have to share a space, even with people I love and feel safe around, it still costs me energy. And that's an energy leak I can easily fix by being alone. I'm also not really made for the 9 to 5 routine. I'm working a few hours in the morning before I even get dressed, then a bit in the afternoon and again late at night. I'm terrible at leaving my house fully prepared with all my stuff, lunch, everything I might need. That whole pack up and go routine feels like climbing a mountain. So working from home removes the barrier entirely. Call it or spicy if you like, I just deeply admire who can have a daily routine. I've tried, it's not me. The idea of what a workday or a studio should look like doesn't always serve you as an artist. What works for me might not work for you, and that's completely fine. Some people, maybe you, focus better when you leave the house. Love a structured schedule and draw energy from having people around. That's completely valid. It's the norm for a reason. I'm just grateful I gave myself permission to do it differently. One other thing that I do different, I do not sit. I live with chronic pain and that forced me to work differently. Not from a chair, but through movement. It might sound like a limitation, but it's actually taught me to design my studio for me. After years of trying out all kinds of chairs, I finally realized I just don't want to sit. No matter what surface or how ergonomic it is, the pain always gets worse by sitting down. And when that happens, I cannot concentrate and working or creating becomes impossible. As long as I don't sit, I am fine. So I removed the chair in my studio, because if it's not there, I cannot be tempted to use it. What I do have is a sit-stand desk and a treadmill that let me walk while I work. And recently I've added this stool, so now I can just stand on my knees. I know this is a specific situation, and maybe you're thinking, I'm not gonna remove my chair, but that's not my point. What I want to show is that the conventional idea of a desk, a chair, 8 hours of focus doesn't have to be your standard. Maybe you like sitting on the floor, then sit on the floor. Change the light, the temperature, the airflow, whatever you need. Just make sure your body feels comfortable, because discomfort is one of the biggest hidden energy drains we often overlook. At least I did. While I was working on all these solutions, the energy, the habits, the space I need to work well, I realized something else. If my studio is supposed to support me, then it also has to restore me. It has to hold the same softness I need in order to create. And that's where the idea for this painting came in. I want to share why this image matters to me. This little world I'm painting, the water, the tiny jellyfishes, the trees, the soft blue sky, it's all inspired by a place I love deeply. It's the place where our boat is, a place full of memories I treasure. The first time my partner and I went there, the water was filled with small jellyfish. I've never seen them again since, and maybe that's why the moment stayed with me. It's a place where I feel calm, grounded, and completely myself. When I'm on the boat with the person I love, surrounded by nature, that is my world. In that world, I already have everything I need to feel happy. And that feeling, that softness, that clarity is what I wanted to bring back into my studio. Not as a decoration, but as a reminder. Because another huge energy leak I struggle with is the pressure I put on myself. I take myself way too seriously. I get frustrated when I cannot work faster, finish projects sooner, stay ahead, become successful, whatever that even means. As if my whole life depends on it. And if anything can kill the joy of making, it's that mindset, that stress. So in a room where everything is optimized to help me reach my creative goals, this painting becomes something else entirely. A reminder that none of that actually matters. That I don't have to be hard on myself. Because in the end, it's not about becoming successful. It's about enjoying the process. I want this painting to remind me of that always. And if you resonate with that story or with the print itself, they are available. They are a limited edition, 50 small ones, 50 large ones, and after that they won't come back. Each one is numbered and signed by me, and if you want one, head over to my website after finishing this video. So to wrap it all up in one simple piece of advice, try to become aware of everything that keeps you from doing your work. Your energy leaks. Remove those obstacles, or at least keep them out of sight. That way it becomes easier to start, to stay focused and to actually enjoy what you're doing. But do hold on the things that help you, the ones that support you or remind you of your goals. The obstacles I face don't have to be yours. Maybe your studio is the place where you do want to feel inspired, where it's about play, relaxation and experimentation, not necessarily productivity. What I hope you take away from my story is the importance to design your space around your own needs, not anyone else's. I became much aware of all of this after reading Atomic Habits from James Clear. That book really helped me to build creative habits that actually last. And I even made a video about it. So if you haven't seen that one yet, I definitely recommend checking that one out. Also, a huge thanks to everyone who donated. I don't make a lot of money from these videos, but I do love making them, and your support honestly makes it possible to keep going. If you'd like to support me for free, you can just watch all my videos again. And then if you have seen them all, you can just send them to your friends so they can watch them all. I would love to know who you are, who's watching these videos. So if you want to, you can reach out, leave a comment. And if you want to stay updated, click the little bell button. Oh, and this right here is the video I talked about building creative habits. And I will see you there.